Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Sunday, October 3rd to Saturday, October 9th. First of all, welcome to October. We are in a brand new energy and I'm excited about it. Now, first and foremost, I need to send out a huge thank you for every single one of you who show up here, for liking, for commenting, for sharing, for subscribing. You have helped me reach 2K subscribers. This is a huge celebration for me, and special mention goes out to Trap House Kitchen, and your community gave me the boost that I needed in order to get this algorithm to start pushing this information to the right people. This literally is a group effort, a collective effort, and Trap has set me up with some beautiful connections, some beautiful people in his community, and together we are waking people up. So huge shout out to Trap House Kitchen. Huge love to each and every single one of you for showing up, for giving me the support, for giving me the encouragement, and for helping me to reach 2K. Woohoo! Okay, so I'm super hyped up today, as you could probably tell. We have a lot to talk about. First of all, we're in October. I am going to absolutely recommend that you go ahead, you check out October's energy forecast. It's likely going to take me all day to roll out each of the zodiac forecasts, so I do appreciate your patience, but they're coming. And they are jam-packed full of information that's going to help each and every single one of you navigate what is going to be a banger of a month. This would also be a great time for you to subscribe to the Moon Guide. This is going to help us really dive in and align with the energies that October is going to bring us and make sure that we're staying ahead of the game. So last week, we ended off September with a huge push. A huge blast of energy coming into the crown. We definitely had a lot of built up aggression, built up frustration. We all kind of went to our ugly sides there just for a quick minute. And of course, with Mercury retrograde, we weren't thinking clearly. We're not speaking clearly. We are all the way stuck in the past, trying to make moves into the future, and we're just spinning around in circles. So this week, we're coming into a fresh, brand new energy. We are building towards the new moon in Libra. We have Pluto stationing to go direct. We have Venus on the move, preparing to jump out of this very deep, intense, passionate, kind of dark energy of Scorpio and jump into the light with a brand new perspective, a brand new belief system, a brand new truth when she moves into Sagittarius. We are going to feel the shift big time because Saturn is going to be preparing to go direct on the 10th as well. So if you haven't listened to October's energy forecast as of yet, that little intro that I put out there, let me just give you a little bit of a flash of what we can expect. We're coming into the month with 6 planets in a retrograde. Most of them will be direct by the time October is over. This month is not for the faint of heart, okay? All of the fear, all of the doubts, all the insecurities, all of the nervousness that we've all been sitting in, making us kind of like whiny crybabies, that has got to be a thing of the past, my people. We are warriors of light, and we are being pushed into the battlefield where we are going to have to stand up. We're going to have to speak up. We're going to have to take action, holding the line. We are going to have to take action, making some moves in order to do what is right. We have a lot of energy bubbling up in us. We have a lot of energy shifts coming into our cosmos. We have a very pivotal point right now that is going to require us to drop the whininess and to step into our power. So, we have a lot going on even in this very first week of October. This is going to really put the squeeze on our ascension symptoms. Let's cover what was the most frequent complaints for last week. Well, we can't get away without talking about these crown activations. We had solar winds, we had solar flares, we had all kinds of cosmic activity coming into the cosmos, in through the crown, putting huge amounts of pressure in our head. Headaches, really loud ringing, dizziness, all of those good kind of energies that suggest that our third eye is opening, that we are receiving new information, new downloads that's going to really help us boss up over this next month. We had a lot of one-sided ascension symptom complaints. Thank you so much for dropping in the comments whether it was your left or right side. Again, we're likely going to see a lot of pressure build up on one side over the other, and many of us are going to see the switch. If it was left-sided discomfort that you were sitting in, we are going to switch to the right side, all in an attempt to balance the scales. We are going to be reaching a point of unification, a blending of energies later this week, but we're going to have to feel the extremes before we actually get there. Many of us had a lot of balance issues, right? Feeling right crazy, feeling like we're all over the place, like we're in the spin cycle of a washer machine. Again, Mercury went retrograde, joining all the other planets in a retrograde, and this definitely slows us down, makes us groggy, makes us spacey, makes us feel like we flashed back a couple of years in our past, and is very, very disorienting. We had a lot of heart activations. Heart activations happen when Venus is on a roll, and again, she's in Scorpio, intensifying our shadow parts. Why? Because we have to integrate them. We cannot compartmentalize and divide the not so nice thoughts and feelings away from the good ones. That is a division of our power, a division of our energy. And that is not what we're going to need for this next little chapter. We're going to have to unify, integrate, stand in our wholeness. And that is what this week is really going to push us to do. So I am declaring that this week is a boss up. We have to connect with our inner gangster. This is our inner G, okay? Not energy, inner G. Again, many of us have been sad, depressed, grieving, sitting in fear, sitting in nervousness. Now that is all part of the process, but let me just bitch slap you with some truth here. We are warriors. We signed up for this. We are now stepping on the battlefield. We are holding our shields firm, protecting ourselves. We are holding our swords with a strength of power and aggression that we are not afraid to slice through any of these old connections, any of these old beliefs, any of these old emotions that are going to keep us paralyzed on this battlefield and put us in a position to be attacked. We're not about it. We have to boss up. So we have a lot of Plutonian energy coming at us. We've had Pluto very active over the last couple of weeks. Why? Because he is the great transformer. He is the great destroyer. He had to illuminate for us our fears, our insecurities, our pain, our trauma. Why? Because sometimes we need to be bullied into our place of power. And Pluto is helping us do just that. Pluto is going to go direct. And this means that now we're shifting all of this inner turmoil out into the external realm where we're going to be able to actually take action and make some moves. This is the root chakra, people. This is our survival skills. This is going to likely illuminate a lot of pressure in the base of our butts, a base of our spine, our tailbones, our hips. This is where all of the old trauma is stored. This is likely going to feel very uncomfortable to sit. We're not supposed to be sitting on the battlefield. We're supposed to be standing. We're supposed to be waiting for that green light go. We're supposed to be waiting for that indicator from our opposition on where it is that we get to actually see that they are making the first move and that we are going to step up, rise up to the challenge. So this means that you will likely feel a lot of popping, a lot of cracking, a lot of tension in your hips, in your tailbone, even maybe in the upper thighs with some, sciatic type of tremors. This is essentially us trying to get our asses into gear, get our asses on that battlefield prepared to strike whenever we are put in a position where we have to fight and defend ourselves. So Chiron, the wounded healer, he is very active this week as well. He wants to unleash our inner warrior. He wants to make sure that we are standing our ground. So we have some interesting aspects with Chiron because he's sitting across from the sun and Mars, the god of war. This is why we have had our wounds ripped open. This is why we've been feeling whiny. This is why we've been in depression. This is why we've been sad and grieving. But the sun and Mars is life force warrior energy. We have to take those negative thoughts, negative emotions. We have to use that as a motivator, as a catalyst to stand up and do what is right, to fight for justice, to fight for fairness, within our own realms and our personal relationships and on the greater, grander scale with the collective. I don't have to tell you what that kind of energy indicates for the collective. I don't even have to warn you what that might look like on the greater, grander stage that we are all observing right now. We've had enough. We're at a tipping point. We know what we want. We know what we deserve. And now we are going to do something about it. So this particular energy is going to activate our heart, okay? Our adrenaline is running. We are restless. We are anxious. We are waiting. You know, when you're at a race and you're waiting for like the gun to go off or the green flag to drop, that anticipation, that edginess, that restlessness, this is where we're at. Our heart and our head, because of Libra season, is now on the same page. We see where it is that injustices are existing and where it is that we have the power to even the playing field. But it's going to have to come from first, our heart and our head agreeing, second, using our voice, and third, taking a stand, making some actions, being firm in our physical realm positions to show people that guess what? We ain't messing around no more. So we are going to feel a lot of sensation in our lower extremities. Our feet are planted very firmly on the ground. Many of us still in a state of nervousness, in a state of fear. I get it. But at the same time, people, we signed up for this. Warriors don't sign up for a battle and then, get on the battlefield and want to cry about it. You might feel like you want to cry because that is a whole bunch of energy, right? Bubbling up. We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. Yes, it can be fearful. Yes, it can be, triggering anxiety and restlessness. But at the end of the day, we're all suited up. We're ready to go. We're on the battlefield. We can't turn around and run away now. Now we have to take all of these lower vibrational frequencies and we have to stand our ground. So this is going to lead us to having a lot of heart activations, a lot of tremors in our feet, a lot of rigidity in our lower extremities, especially because, again, Pluto, that survival technique, those survival energies, that trauma, still very much stored in our hips. We have a warrior-like position, and when you hold the line for very long, you're feeling that tension just course throughout your bones. So we have a lot of information coming in. Again, Mercury is retrograde. This is confusion. This is dizziness. This is our thoughts going all the way to the depths of the darkness where we just cannot get rid of negative Nancy, and bouncing all the way back to the highest extreme where we're overly positive, where we're almost elated, where we're damn near blissful, but it only happens for a couple of minutes. You need to recognize that those moments are indicators that we're on the right track. Even if we lose our footing and we go back into the depths of the darkness of our psyche, we have to understand that we are doing a balancing act right now. This is what Libra season is all about. So the confusion, the dizziness, the head pressure, likely going to continue. What we are seeing is that negative Nancy, Betty the bully, they are both teaming up on us. They are both trying to get us so scared, so paranoid. standing on this battlefield of what it is that we're about to jump into, that this is the reason why we want to run off the battlefield in the first place, because we don't have control over our mental plane. We have to get a grip over our heart, over our head, in order for us to take action, right? I don't think there's too many, movies, especially with war scenes, where they're all standing on the field with, just excitement in their heart. I think that they charge forward, they go ahead and do what it is that they need to do based off of the negative emotions that's coming up, based off of the aggression that is coming up. We have to charge forward even if we're scared, even if we're nervous, even if we are filled with anxiety. We have to push forward. We have to overcome this fear. So we have some sore lips coming up, dry lips, but mostly sore, cracked. Why? Because the energy is stuck in our mouths. This is throat chakra season. We are speaking our truth. We have to be heard. But many of us are still biting our tongues. We're still holding our jaws very much in a rigid position. And this is creating a lot of very fiery energy in our mouths. This is cracking our lips, drying out our lips, really puffing them up, inflaming them, very sore, very red. To accompany that, we have some very dry eyes. And I don't know if y'all have been experiencing this, but I keep blinking, trying to get clarity. It's almost like my vision is blurry, it's clouded. Well, we are in retrograde season. We aren't standing in a whole lot of clarity right now. And we are going to have this sensation, not so much of dry eyes, but just that we can't seem to focus in on what it is that we want to focus in on. The unclear vision isn't going to hinder our vision in other realms. This is where lights and orbs and sparkles come into play, and that is only going to increase. So we talked about the discomfort in the lower extremities. I just want to talk about the muscle tremors. Maybe even shaking, maybe even spasms. And again, I just want to remind you, we are on the battlefield holding the line. We are taking all of this nervous, restless energy, and we are just standing there waiting for the green light go so that we can charge ahead. But all this energy is bottled up in our physical form, in our lower extremities. And because of that, we might feel the repercussions of that through shaking, tremoring, and of course, muscle spasms. So this raciness we're feeling, this eagerness to charge forward, that's going to create a lot of, let's call heart activations, let's call it anxiety, let's call it restlessness. We have this impulse, this desire to just be fired up and ready to take charge. And that is a hard energy, a very hard energy to actually manage in our bodies. It could actually trigger a lot of nausea because we're so nervous. We're so, we're just vibrating at this anticipation level that we just don't know what to do with. So this could create nausea. It could create a lot of, fluttering in the heart, a lot of dizziness, a lot of ear ringing. It very much feels like the verge of a panic attack, but we just have to remember that a panic attack is undirected energy. And a panic attack is when we feel out of control. And many of us do feel out of control right now, but the one thing that we can do is control our thoughts, our attention, our energy, our emotions. It's hard. But this is what emotional intelligence is all about. And we are definitely on the brink of leveling up to a brand new emotional intellect that we have power to boss up, to be able to put negative Nancy and Betty the Bully in their place and to totally override this negative fear-based energy with excitement, with aggression, with a powerhouse energy. Again, tapping into our inner G, our inner gangster. We're ready to boss up. We're ready to take charge. We're ready to see a shift take place in our physical realms. This is the aggressiveness we need. We need to take a stand. This is going to really activate our throat chakras. Again, Libra season is all about speaking our truth, compromising, cooperating, seeing both sides of the coin, activating what is within us to stand our ground, to do what is right, to fight for justice, to fight for fairness. Now, let me just tell you, These negative emotions, they aren't easy, and not everybody has the coping skills in order to deal with them. This can take us on a very choppy ride into our emotions. We have an aspect coming up with Neptune. Neptune is the escape artist, really diving into the depths of the darker parts of our thoughts, of our emotions, and pushing us to want to escape. This Neptune energy, this Piscean energy, really pushes us to want to numb through drugs, through alcohol, through all the other things that we turn to in order to distract ourselves from our current reality. Now, this is a touchy subject, okay? This is a touchy subject, but suicidal thoughts are coming up. Now, let me just tell you, suicidal thoughts come up when our ego needs to transform, when we no longer want to be the person, the energy, the life force that we currently are. Please do not take these negative thoughts, these lower vibrational thoughts into literal action, okay? We are going through a death. We are putting a death, a certain destruction to our egos, to our energies. We are leveling up. This is an adjustment period where we have to let go of the old in order to step into the new. But that doesn't mean that you terminate the physical form. That means that you recognize where it is that you are being directed to boss up, where it is that you absolutely 100% need a certain death to your identity, to your ego, to detach from the old and free you to move into the new. Of course, we have a beautiful community here. We are not the only ones going through this. If you are in a situation where these ideologies are taking over and you can't navigate this, please reach out to myself or any other person that is in this chat, in this community. The amount of comments that are left on these particular forecasts are amazing. All you have to do is scan through, scroll through, and you'll find someone going through something very similar. This is not a time to end. This is not a time to quit. This is a time to recognize that we have to dig deep right now in all of our pain, all of our trauma, and push, okay? We are in the birthing stage of a brand new reality, and birth hurts, right? Birthing pain hurts. Our little heads are coming down through the birthing canal. We are grasping for air. We can barely see the light. It does kind of feel like we are dying, but guess what? We just need to hold on. We need to hold the line. We need to stand our ground. And we're going to see a brand new bright light at the end of the tunnel in just a couple of weeks. So things are going to continue to be hypersensitive here. We do have very powerful energies coming in through the cosmos, still coming in through the crown, really adding to the head pressure, to the sinus pressure. Now, this can be piercing headaches. This can be piercing sounds that mostly don't stick around all day. Again, may I remind you that when too much information is coming in, there's too much pressure coming in from the crown, put a hat on, put a hood up, wrap your head in something. It's called veiling, and it slows down the light codes coming in to a manageable pace. It does take the pressure off of our physical head. It does ease these particular symptoms. So please, please just be patient with this process. It is going to put a lot more pressure on our eyes. Again, we talked about having cloudy vision, having dry eyes, having itchy eyes, having this want, need, and desire to really focus in on the details of this physical realm. However, we are more adapted to the higher vibrational frequencies coming in from the other realm. October is the month where the veil gets very thin. Halloween is when the veil between realms is the absolute thinnest, which means that there is an overlap of realms of dimension. This is where the sound frequencies are coming in. This is where the alarms are going off. This is where the buzzing is going off. This is where hearing your name being called by, other worldly beings are coming in. It sounds like some really weird shit. It sounds like some supernatural kind of stuff. And guess what? It is. All right. We are supernatural beings, and we are on the cusp, on the brink of this battlefield where we are basically being energized by all of these supernatural forces in order to dive in to this spiritual war that we've been in. This isn't anything new. We've been in it. It's a constant attack in our physical realms each and every single day. If you don't see where the dark force energies are trying very hard to win this war, then you haven't had your eyes open. Not your physical eyes, not your third eye. It's time to wake up. You can't be an asleep warrior on a battlefield. You will get slayed. We have to wake up. We have to be aware. We have to channel this energy into our warrior spirit, and we have to charge forth. So this is going to create a lot of uneasiness, a lot of nervousness in our guts. Many of us have been having some digestive issues, some cramping, some undesirable effects in the bathroom, let's just say. And those are likely going to continue. I want you to think about actually being a warrior on the battlefield, okay? I want you to think about what that would actually be like. You best believe that there are people that are going to lose control over their whole, bowel situation. Now, I'm not going to say that we're going to walk through this week with, a mess in our pants, but we don't have as much control as we would like to think. These urges, these desires, this pressure building up, these activators are coming in hot and heavy. We need to stick around the bathroom, be in close proximity, because we don't have a whole lot of control over the frequency, over the urgency that is moving through our digestive systems as of yet. So we want to pay attention. That doesn't mean you walk around with the pens on, although, if you feel the need to protect yourself that way, by all means go for it. I'm just saying that we're on a roller coaster ride. The anxiety is high. We are all over the place. We've been on these choppy waters for far too long. We have sea legs. We're kind of dizzy. We're kind of confused. We're kind of uneasy. And we have to make sure that no accidents take place. So we talked about the dimensions. We talked about the veil thinning. This is going to continue the overlap between space and time. Again, gravity doesn't seem like its old self. Things are kind of, I'm going to say, rippling. Everything feels kind of wavy. Space and time doesn't seem like the same kind of space and time that we're used to. Dimensions are off, measurements are off, and deja vu is going to be super strong. Many of us have been having dreams and premonitions of states of being that we don't know is actually going to take place in our future realms, or whether we are pulling information in from other realms. Again, we are 13 different versions of ourselves living in 13 different dimensions. Deja vu is a validation point. It is also a marker that somewheres out in those cosmos, your other self, your higher self, just reached a level of completion, reached a very important validation and marker in our path and in our journey, and this is why deja vu happens. So this week I can kind of expect a little bit of skin eruption. So this is pimples and breakouts and rashes and eczema in very strange patchy places too. I'm glad that my eye rash has dissipated, hopefully. Those of you who had the same kind of dry eye flakiness that I've had over the last couple of weeks, hopefully you're seeing those issues resolved as well. But basically, like we've been exploring, any time that we are running hot and heavy on the inside, that there are these emotions, this pain, this trauma coming to the surface, it's got to be seen. It's got to be acknowledged. And it shows up through skin eruptions. We talked about the throat chakra, having to speak our truth, having to really kind of advocate for ourselves. So we are going to feel the constant need for clearing, the constant need for coughing, the constant need for singing, screaming, just speaking words into this physical realm. I want you to pay attention to the mucus, to the phlegm coming up. Many of us have a cough that feels like something should be coming up, but it's more on the dry side. The coughing is an attempt to expand our lungs so that we can bring in brand new air, brand new energy. We're expanding our heart chakras. We're expanding our chests. We have a hard time bringing in enough air at this particular time, and especially when we're in a state of anxiety, state of panic, a state of fear. It's important to have breath work. We want to keep it steady. We want to keep it low and slow. We want to make sure that there's enough oxygen coming into our lungs to feed our brain. Our brain needs this oxygen in order to think, in order to plan, in order to strategize. And it might feel like we can't get a deep enough breath, but I guarantee you that the expansion taking place in the lungs is directly connected to the heart activations coming in for us this week. And we have to do our part to bring in as much clean air as possible. So speaking of the chest area, the heart chakras are going to continue. But here's the thing, we're going to go from anxiety to excitement, to fear to love. We are going to go 0 to 60 and then back again, all in the course of maybe an hour. This is going to be all over the place. But again, I want you to pour all the way into the moments of bliss, the moments of pure elation. This is a validation. This is a reward from the universe to say, hey, you're doing the work. You're purging, you're cleansing, you're raising your vibration, you're raising your frequency. Good for you. This is what peace feels like. This is what alignment feels like. And we're going to get more and more situations where we come out of the depths of darkness and we rise very high in the sky with the new vibrations, with the new frequency. We are going to have a little bit of rigidity again in our lower extremities, again holding the line with all of this restlessness, all of this anxiety, all this eagerness to push forward is not easy to handle. You know, when you're kind of, all rigid and you're all cramped up and you hold that for so long, even think about, when you're cold and you've been shaking for so long, it's exhausting, right? Like you can feel that energy, that intensity in your bones. Well, this is no different. We are going to be feeling a lot of rigidity, especially from the hips down, again, for the reasons that I've previously noted. Pluto, for one, right? Jupiter being activated, ruling over our upper thighs, wanting us to grow, wanting us to expand, but still needing to wait for that green light go to do so. We're holding a lot of tension in our bodies. And we might feel like the ground underneath us is shaking, is moving, is unstable. I just want to remind you that Mother Earth, Gaia herself, she's going through the ascension symptoms just like we are. And we're seeing the ascension symptoms that she's going through our weather patterns. And we all know that weather has been damn well cray-cray. Not to mention the man-made weather systems that have been thrown out there that Gaia has to respond to. She is morphing, she is transforming, she is waking up, she is vibrating at a different frequency, and that may feel a little bit weird underneath our physical feet. I want to talk about rib discomfort, and this kind of plays into the chest, it plays into the breathing, it plays into the heart activations. It kind of feels uncomfortable, like our rib cages are like something sticking out, or it's popping, or it's clicking, or it just feels uncomfortable to sit. Again, this week is not for sitting. This is for standing our ground, for being prepared on the battlefield to take charge, to move ahead, to move forward. So the rib uncomfortability is just an indicator right now that we have to dive more into the breathing practice. Again, taking huge amounts of air into our lungs, really pushing the boundaries of the expansion of our lungs, the expansion of our chest, especially when we're having heart activations of fear, of anxiety, of grief, of sadness. You gotta breathe through it, right? We're in a birthing process. Lamaze breathing through pregnancy, through the birthing process, is there for a reason, right? So if you have to tap into some, birthing breathing, by all means, do it. Breath work is the one tool that we have control over that can change our vibration, that can change our frequency, not only in our physical, biological bodies, but in our energetic, emotional, and mental bodies as well. Breath work is helping us to clear out the old attachments, the old light codes, the old pain, the old trauma. We have to elevate to new levels of vibration and frequency before we get the green light to go ahead and charge forward. So many of us have been experiencing some very wild dream content. Yes, we've been having visions of the future. Yes, we've been revisiting love interests, exes from our past. Again, thank you, Mercury retrograde, for those lovely flashbacks and memories. And the visions, the dreams are going to continue. But here's the thing. Please start using your dream content as an indicator of where it is that you are emotionally and mentally either unstable or grounded here in the physical realm. Again, with the anxiety and anticipation creeping up in our lives, waiting for that green light go, waiting for the gun to go off, waiting to charge forward on that battlefield, We can't process a lot of what's going on in our physical lives right now. Emotionally, we don't have the understanding to absolutely tackle each detail, every emotion, and integrate it as it comes up, which means that when we go to sleep, our subconscious is running through our days, running through our subconscious self, running through our memory vault, running through all of this fragmented energy that we have to do something with. Again, when we sleep, this is the defragging process in our operating systems. And some wild hints and clues are coming up for us in our dreams. This is 100% pushing us in our energetic body, in our astral realms, to get in alignment, to integrate with our physical realms, our physical bodies, so that we can move forward, we can charge forward as a whole unified energy. Again, when we compartmentalize the not so nice with the very good vibes, when we take all of our pain and trauma and we stuff it in a box and we, repress it, that is a division of our power. We cannot enter into the battlefield and expect to win if we are half-assing it, okay? We have our gear on. We have our shields. We have our weapons. We got to get our mind right. We got to get our head right. And we have to unleash all of that pain and all of that trauma to act as a fuel, as a catalyst to push us into the most brave, courageous energy that we have ever had. Now, if you're still with me, I want to thank you. I know I've been a little bit over the top. I hope you feel my energy. I hope you feel my passion. I hope you feel my drive. I hope you feel my energy, my inner warrior. And I hope that it inspires you to unleash yours. We are all in this together. We all have to come together. We all have to unify. We all have to stand up on this freaking astral battlefield. And we have to know that the light has already won. Now, on the physical realm that we're currently living in here in this earthly realm, we are merely going through the actions that is going to mirror to us what has already taken place in these higher realms. So it's time to get your game face on. It's time to give yourself the time to take a good look in the mirror. And whether you are crying, whether you are scared, whether you are terrified, you need to boss up. It is time to unleash the inner warrior that you have kept hidden inside of you for far too long. It is time to make a change. It is time to speak up. It is time to fight for what is right, for what is fair. It is time to stand on the battlefield, arm in arm, united, knowing that we are divinely protected, knowing we are divinely blessed, knowing that no one is coming to save us, but we are standing here firm in our light, in our power, and we are ready to save ourselves. So, I want to thank you for joining me. I want to thank you for ascending with me. I want to thank you for your time, for your energy, for your support, for your encouragement, for your effort. Not only showing up for me, but showing up for yourself. I hope that this was a powerful, inspiring Ascension symptom forecast. I know it's not for the weak of heart, but guess what? If you were weak of heart, you wouldn't be listening. You wouldn't be on the earth right now. You wouldn't be aligned with your soul calling, your mission, your purpose in order to fight for what is right, to change the course of the collective, and to do what is right for humanity. Let's get it, people. Let's stand in line. Let's put our helmets on. Let's put our guards up, swords up in the air, ready to hold the line, ready to fight, ready to defend, ready to push forward and make a change in our individual realities and, of course, on the greater, grander stage. I'm sending nothing but love. Please take the time, if you haven't already, to go ahead and listen to October's energy forecast and the Astro Tarot forecast for each of the zodiacs as they come up and as they go live. It's going to be a powerful month, people, and I couldn't be prouder to move through this month with all of you by my side. So let's get ready. Let's do this. Let's take over October. Sending you nothing but love. Hope you have a beautiful night, and we'll talk to you soon.